Welcome to the pulse of the people. The heartbeat is strong. Dr. Ron's got the wisdom where insight belongs. Politics, finances, break it down with ease. He's the voice of solutions, the one who believes. Coming Grayson's here, shining bright in the scene with entertainment, authors, and small days dreams. She's a spark of the community, lifting us high where creativity flows and passions never die. It's the pulse of the people, the rhythm, the groove. SKST and SG got the power to move. With voices united, we're setting the tone. Tune in, be inspired, it's your life, it's your own. Elder Willie Brown's got the mic in his hand. Community news from the streets of the land. He's your neighbor, your friendly JOC. Breaking it down, bringing unity. We're a trio of passion. Welcome to another episode of SKST Radio Podcast. And today is Pulse of the People Podcast. And I have myself, Cammy Grayson, Dr. Ron, who's not here with us today, but I have another co-host right over there in the corner.
Yep, W.C. Brown, community champion.
Welcome. And who do you have with you, sir?
I've got my good friend, Pastor Butler. Oh, my yes. Oh, I'll tell, not, oh, my God. Oh, my yes.
Oh, my yes. Okay.
Oh, my yes. Yeah.
Well, welcome, Pastor Butler.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you being in the house.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. So we want to know who you are. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, again, I am the associate pastor. Just had a little recent transition, stepping into the ministry of the Garden of Prayer #3. But the main position I hold is chairman of the Church of God in Christ Urban Initiative in the Fort Ecclesiastical jurisdiction under Bishop G. Wesley Hardy. And the Urban Initiative has 5 key areas: education, economics, crime prevention reduction, financial literacy, and family support. I'm also the vice president of the Empowerment Center, which has very similar. The Empowerment Center is the actual 501c that overshadows Launch. Launch is learning, access, unity, nutrition, career, and health. And I'm the vice president and the captain of nutrition.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yeah, that's just some of it.
That's some of it.
We didn't do it.
What don't you do?
Yeah, there you go. And how do we do it? With the help of the Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what is your mission right now? What are you working on?
Well, I'll make a long story short. We all remember the pandemic, and people were struggling. So the Virginia Department of Health had reached out to us, and being a 501c, we were able to apply for several grants and received quite a few bit of funds. But when the funds ran out, I called Dr. Cosby, who heads it up, hoping to get more funds, and she said, "Well, Reverend, I'll call you." Well, when I received her call, I got excited thinking she had some more money. But she didn't. She said, "No, brother, I want you to get on a Zoom with the faith-based initiative of Veteran Affairs." I said, "Well, I'm familiar with faith-based initiative, Department of Justice."
Right.
I didn't know the VA had a faith-based initiative.
Mm-hmm.
What they do, and I got on the Zoom, didn't want to, but I did. And when I got on the Marine, Mr. Morales, he watered up. They began to talk about veterans committing suicide.
Oh,
22 veterans a day
Yeah.
commit suicide. And one of the reasons they commit suicide is they're struggling with the benefits. And the third major issue was veteran homelessness.
Oh, no.
So needless to say, when they begin to talk about doing a suicide prevention class via Zoom, I said, "Time out. That's not working."
Right.
I mean, you're on the Zoom and somebody can have a breakdown on the Zoom. You need to. So what we done, we said, "Listen, we'll give you a brick and mortar." I reached out to Bishop Hardy, Cathedral of Faith, opened the doors. One of the elders at the church is Elder Nick Anthony, who's a retired lieutenant colonel. He used to fly helicopters, but he has a PhD in psychology. He done the suicide prevention training. Another young lady tried 27 years, Lolita Jones. Reverend Jones done the benefits training. And it went well to the point where they came on. Mr. Washington, who's the director of the faith base, he came on, and they were like, "Wow, we have a veterans mobile van that will come to your area, and they'll be on site. They can come on site. They will bring their claims department with their laptops and their own hotspots. The hospital will come over with their people to register. We had the people from the cemetery, which a lot of veterans don't realize. Yes, you can go to Horton, but you have to register. You got your paperwork and all. Long story short, November of last year, they came, and it was fabulous. So they are coming again. The young lady called me about 2 weeks ago because they had called me in December after we done the event and said, "Man, we really want to come back." I said, "Well, let us breathe. Give them a minute here. We just done it in November." But she actually called about 2 weeks. She said, "Rev, I know y'all agreed to do it, but we're filling up our dates fast. We want to come. Can you do November the 1st?" But in this conversation, by now, we're going back and forth. We're kind of filling each other, as we say. We've been a help to them, and they've been a help to us. Their big push until they come in November is setting up veteran support groups.
Okay.
Now, I'm not trying to throw any denomination under the bus, but some of our brothers have been like, I'm like, bruh, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you're talking about people that were on watch while we were sleeping, protecting us.
Mm-hmm.
They're in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, that's epidemic numbers. Think about that. 22 people today
Wow.
committed suicide. So they're saying, we want to reach out. And they didn't say it, but in so many words, it's like, look, they need Jesus.
Yeah.
We want to connect you with the church. Right here is a PDF that I want to get out to as many pastors that will send me their email. Okay, and I'll make sure you get my email before we leave this broadcast. But basically, it's a step-by-step on how to set up that veterans ministry.
And we definitely need that because, being a veteran myself,
I didn't know that.
I'm 100%.
Okay.
I was connected.
Did you know six levels of 100%?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some veterans tell me they're 100%.
That's just it. You know what I'm saying?
And they're like, I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
You'll never learn anything until
Right.
you stop.
You got to.
And stop thinking you know everything. You know some things. Okay. This young lady that I mentioned, Reverend Lolita Jones, she has a nonprofit that helps veterans get their benefits. Okay. Now, by the way, let me back up. People always say, "Brother, why are you so passionate?" Well, I went to go on the Air Force, but at the time I had some issues. I wasn't always Reverend Butler.
Hey,
At
least he's honest.
I'm upfront. You got to be transparent and real. But fast forward, Nathan Jr. goes in at 17 years old, signs the papers, and goes in the United States Air Force. Matter of fact, he was in boot camp doing 9/11.
Wow.
Blew me away. I had a strap. Well, he's retired now. So anything coming through the pipe that has to do something with veterans that I can help my son.
Right.
Yeah, not to mention being a pastor, not to mention being someone that was raised up in this Hampton Roads area. I know how significant it is, okay, to be able to help the veterans and their families. So yeah, we got it bumped down. I'm sorry, I got on the tangent.
That's okay. No, well, basically, we just want to make sure we get the word out. So
we want to get the word out first and foremost. You do not have to wait to November the 1st.
okay.
But I can tell you, one of the things I'm trying to let the pastors know, okay, like anything, you set something up, you have to have something to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
November's first date, yes, November 1st date will be something that if you come together in your congregation, you say, okay, we want to do this veterans, and forgive me if I keep saying Veterans Welcome Center. They changed the name about 3 times. I think they've settled in on Veterans Support Group, okay? One of the things that I'm finding out is And by the way, right at my church, I talked to my associate pastor who is retired 21 years Navy,
Yep.
and one of my close friends that worked with me in the Met, and I can't tell you who he is because it's some. I got to tell you a personal story. At that November event, he came. This is a friend of mine that's a veteran that works with me, and he just came as a friend to me because I was pumping this thing so hard. I was so excited about it. Well, he ended up talking to the people in the claims department. He should jump out of airplanes. He had 0%. Okay. Afterwards, after the thing was over, he came to me and he was excited. I'm like, what's wrong with you? He said, man, I was just talking to the lady in claims. I said, what do you mean? She said, yeah. She's telling me I need to foul. I never thought I could foul.
Oh, wow.
Listen, look, I'm sure how ironic this is. He fouled. Then he came back a month later and was excited. He said, I think I got something. He called me yesterday.
Oh,
He called me yesterday. He said, Reverend, I got 40% and they're not finished.
That's right.
He said, I got 40% and that's just for my neck and my feet. They're going to finish evaluate. And I asked him, I said, well, what about the back money? Because you know, when you get approved, they go back to when you had that claim and give you all the money they should have been giving you. He said, the check is on the way.
woo!
So listen, so I'm running around going, hey, look, you know, like I know, if you're a pastor and you have veterans in your church, you set up this veteran support group. So now that all the information is coming out of, now don't get confused. Our current president can't stop everything. It's some folks that don't, I'm not being political, I'm just being real. Okay? It's some folk going, oh, look here, boy. Okay? These are young men and women that put their life on the line. And by the way, he also told me, he said, do you know my son who's in college can get his college tuition paid?
Wow.
It's just what I'm saying, it's blowing my mind because I'm going, why as a pastor wouldn't you want to reach out to the faith Center for Faith-Based VA and get locked into what they're doing? Okay. It is powerful. Okay. Not to mention the ministry part. Can you imagine? And we talk about the man or the woman that served. You know, a big gap that goes untouched, and you'll see it in here. The widows and spouses. Most spouses,
People don't even think about it.
they don't even think. Well, my husband dead 15 years. Baby, let me help you with that. I'm just being me. Look, I'm telling you as a point of fact, there are spouses, and most of the time, everything that your husband was entitled to, you can get it. I give you a classic example. You work with the insurance group, Integrity. I work for that group, okay?
Right.
There's a product out there. A lot of the military will tell you they have TRICARE for life. And when I first started doing this, because I was doing life insurance, I started doing this about 3 years ago. When I first started doing this, they say, I got TRICARE for life. I don't need nothing else. You know what? I used to go, okay. I would go, okay. I didn't know no better. I found out, yeah, you have TRICARE for life. And you may not need nothing, but you want it. Because there are plans out there with zero premium, zero. Listen, one of them will give you $150 back on your Part B premium. One of them will give you $80 and $2,500 worth of dental.
And my $100 grocery card I get every month. Hello?
Listen, just because you have TRICARE for life, when you turn 65, you still get this. So people say, well, because I know people going to go, wait a minute, brother. You got to have more skin in the game than just your son done this. I'm a businessman. I found anytime you can do business and help people. The guy who brought me in this Dale told me, because it took him 3 years to recruit me. He said, Butler, there's 3 things you need to know. One, you can have some fun. Because I love people. He said, you can make some money. I said, okay, everybody loves money. And he said, you can help some people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. And when I started doing this, I found it to be a ministry. I'm finding this to be a ministry to our veterans. That's why I have this on a PDF. I have a direct line. If you do this page, you'll see that the brother that's directing, he looks like us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Now I haven't met him personally, but I've been on Zooms with him, and he is doing a quarterly Zoom meeting with anyone that wants to come on and get up to date. Because one of the things that we were talking about on our last Zoom was because we've all heard of the PAC Act, right?
Yeah.
Veterans are now applying. That's over $1 billion that was put into the PAC Act. Anybody that was exposed to water, burn pits, and people say, "Well, I don't think I was exposed." How do you know? You may have been exposed to something they just didn't tell you
Exactly.
you was exposed to. It's in your record. You go back and get tested. So long story short, that money is just sitting there. They told me when I first met with them, they said, one of the things we want you to do, Rev, is get into the community and let these veterans know, okay, we know umpteen years ago, you would get on the phone, you'd be on there hour and a half. Then they hang up on you. Okay? We know some of the frustrations veterans have had getting their benefits, right? They're saying, please, time out. Let's start all over again. We apologize, but Biden put over $1 billion into that PAC Act. And people tell me, well, I don't know if I qualify. Well, I got news for you. If you don't file, I know what you'll get.
Zero.
I know what you'll get if you don't file. And they're begging them. And what they want is through these groups for you to have that connection, okay? Y'all know well. I can speak to the veteran over here. You have your own fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nothing about the DEQD and the DDDD, and then we used to go down to the GFA. That my son taught that language to his buddies when I'm visiting him in Maryland. Yeah. Y'all have your own fraternity, and you glean off each other. That's why you want a veterans group. What one veteran, because the VA is this big. Okay, I'm just touching bases on some small things. Listen, they have a grant out there. If you live in a rural area, you can get a van, take veterans to the hospital and get paid. Yep. They got grants out there for veterans that are struggling with housing. But the guy came in November. He done a whole piece on how people with 501Cs can file for grants. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I'm in the process right now. I don't mind telling you. I'm in the process right now of working with the city of Norfolk to get property to build. And I think I'm going to put veterans in it. Yeah. Okay. I think because it's a crisis. So needless to say, there is a need beyond. I'll be quiet for a minute. As you can say, I'm a preacher.
Yeah, I was about to say, let us take a quick break and we'll be back after these messages. Well, welcome back. If you just tuned in, you haven't tuned in today. You tuned in to Pulse of the People, and we have a special guest in the house today.
My name, Pastor Butler.
There you go.
That's me.
And so Pastor Butler was telling us about the benefits that our veterans are not receiving because they either not know about it or don't have the heart to go get it or just don't have access to it. So his goal is to give them access. And doing that is through the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. And so we are very excited to learn all this information that he's offering here. And so we were kind of just do a quick little recap on all the benefits that they are allowed. And so, and then of course we know that our very own Elder Brown is a veteran as well. And so this is amazing to find out that all this information is out there, and it's just a matter of getting it to the right people.
Getting it to the right people, and you were questioning earlier about did we work with
Yeah, so the American Legions.
Was it VFW Veteran of Foreign War, DAV? When we agreed to let the faith-based initiative come to the Cathedral Faith in November, I stopped by several locations, but I'm only one person.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's critical that we're trying to get the Baptist Association, the Presbyterian Association, the Methodist Association, the Muslim. People say, well, Pastor Barnes, you're a Christian. Yeah, I know, but the president of the Park Place Business Association is Muslim, man, and my friend. When it comes to helping people, I'm like, look, man, time out. Haven't we divided up enough? Okay. So back to the organization, we are willing to work with any and all that will open up their doors and start these veteran support groups. Okay. This is a PDF that I will send you. Nathan Butler, the number 8 at yahoo.com. You email me and say, Pastor Butler, I want that PDF so I can start a veteran support group at my church. And I will email it right to you. You can call me 757-675-4614. I will return your phone call at my earliest convenience, and we can discuss things and ways. But it's some dynamite things that they're doing in this program that I didn't think about. Okay.
Well, so if you did not get his information, our email address is right there, skstbooking@gmail.com. Put in the subject of the Veterans Affairs, and we will make sure that he gets the message and the email address that he's looking
Appreciate
for.
it.
And so, okay, so we were talking about working with the different veterans and associations and things. And I find that a lot of people, and you said it out of your own mouth, are very territorial.
Yes.
And so, again, we have to work together. I don't know how many times I have to express, and now I see that it's just not in my area, it's in other areas. I'm talking to you today. And so if we could come together as one team, one accord, I think we will be way better off than what we are.
Of course we would. And you know, I tell people in the insurance industry, it's more than enough to go around. When it comes to helping veterans, my God, we are in one of the largest areas.
Yeah.
But not just active duty, but for retired. Okay? We're not going to step on, I might as well just put it out there. I wanted to work with the hospital over in Hampton for the November event. I told them I just wanted to come over during their event and pass out some flyers. They never called me back.
Wow.
And they were like, and when I called the federal people, they were like, don't worry about it. Press forward, Pastor Butler. Press forward. Don't let nothing stop you. You know, and by the way, they were overly impressed, as I mentioned, to the point where they're coming back this year. And we're going to do this thing bigger and better because they deserve it.
Right.
They really deserve it. Okay.
You know, it's been, like I said, it's the number of the suicides. I've worked with the SATP program. Okay, I've actually I can play for the the New Horizon gospel group.
Okay.
You know, and of course they get into that. You know, I'm an alcoholic. Or I'm a drunk. No, you don't have to do it, church.
I'm delivered.
You're delivered. You know, delivered.
That's what I was.
You know what I'm saying? You delivered. But a lot of them are finding so much into that same problem with getting medications. I'll be transparent. I just started. I just started with the CPAP machine. Okay. My sleep test was last year. My tests say that I'm getting like 79% oxygen and I'm oxygen deprived. Why in the world did it take 7 months from the time I did my test to get my machine? I've been on the machine 3 days.
But you know what's happening though, and it's not a good thing that you had that experience. Well, the good thing is that you went through that experience so that if you were in a veteran support group, you would be able to share some hurdles that I always tell folks, listen, my daddy used to tell me all the time, son, you don't have to eat the whole cow, no, you eating beef. But I tell my children all I tell my children all the time, I know it may, and they come back to me later, they appreciate it. But I used to tell them, I know the landmines that I stepped on, and I was injured. And it took me years to recover. I'm still recovering. I don't want you to step on those. When you're in a veteran support group, there may be things that you could say in that group that a veteran over there going, you know something?
Yeah.
Then what did you do? What did you do? This is what I did. This is who I called, and this is how I resolved that. Okay.
And that helped. But I was kind of opposed to like group sessions. You know, we have a group Zoom, and of course, every now and then you get one or two veterans that monopolize the whole. By the time the hour was over, we ain't can't say nothing.
Right.
But I heard some things that helped me to know that I wasn't the only person that was going through it.
Amen.
And I'm trying to figure out
Then
how did this faith initiative, you know, 'cause we've got our mental health folk. You know, I suffer PTSD, trying to, you know, work on that and stuff. And I found that talking to counselors, you know, and I'm saved too. You know what I'm saying? I had somebody told me, says, oh, you just need to call on the Lord. You don't need no. Why you gotta have
Well,
that?
see, that's because that's the way it used to be. Right? We didn't do that as a people.
Right.
You know, we kept it within ourselves and things like that. But now, I guess with COVID, it brought it all out. even
Well,
more.
you know, we're finding
We had it already.
Yeah,
but we
we're
just
finding
didn't
it
acknowledge it.
with proper training. We're finding that some people have a demon and need delivered. Some people have a chemical imbalance and need a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to be able to distinguish the difference.
but you
Stay
can't
in
do
that
it. You
no,
have to
you-
get checked.
You got to get checked.
You
And
gotta get checked.
staying in that vein of by you sharing what you're going through, that may be just enough relief to that person in that group to go, wait a minute, I'm not alone. I thought I was the only one. Okay, I thought I was the only one, and that's not the case. There are thousands out there, and what I'm finding is in that group, you can help each other.
Yeah.
If it's just a matter of once a month, because I know the pastor's going, well, we already got 100 programs. Well, now you got 101. Okay, you know, because hey, it is what it is. But and you don't have to do it every week. It can be every other week. It can be once a month. But how effective, what size, that depends on what size is the group and how effective. I can assure you that if you start the group, the faith-based initiative will give you enough material where when people come, they feel like they haven't wasted their time because they gain valuable information. It blew my mind the way that people didn't know about the back. They didn't know that their kids can go to get the education, or the spouses. The amount of information that's there for even the widows. They're like, wait a minute, what do you mean I can get an extra $150 back from my Social Security check? My husband dead. I said, do you still have TRICARE for life? She said, yeah, you can still get that money. He dead and go.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah. My kids have benefited. They get a check every month while they're in school.
There you go.
Because I wanted them, you know, to be able to have a nice little nest egg when they graduate. And my fifth child just graduated from Region.
Amen.
Had a good little piece of change. You know, Ilani, my youngest daughter, she's in it now. Now she's going to summer school. You know, so that chapter 35, that chapter 33 has been just a godsend. But the thing that, especially with these initiatives, and even so, be careful when you just everybody says thank you for your service. You know, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, I have my veterans hat and what have you. Appreciate your service. I was in Walmart the other day, and I guess I had the Air Force on the back of my hat. When she said, "So thank you for your service." Okay, well, I appreciate you recognizing that. You know, but what is it? But why do we have so many veterans on the street? Why do we, and then we have another segment of veterans who aren't even being serviced. These are the ones that have the back under discharges. You know,
We wanted to let in the veterans group, you can address all
All
of that because everybody didn't necessarily get a fair deal
Right.
on that discharge.
Right.
Okay, because let's not get too involved in the pot, but we all know that that's still a real thing called discrimination.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no ifs, ands, and buts. I wanted you to go where you want to go, so it looks like you've been holding a question for a minute.
Oh, no, I'm good. I just wanted to do my little segment real quick.
Yeah.
Do your segment.
Yeah.
Okay, so my little segment today, I'm AI, and I just wanted to make sure everyone understands we're in week 5 of artificial intelligence class, the basics, and we're recruiting. We still want more people to come and learn. We don't want you to feel intimidated by what's coming and what's already here. We want you to be a part of it. We want you to know and learn. The knowledge is power, and you don't have to go spend all your money to get on these AI apps and things like that. We are giving you that information for free. We're showing you the basics and where it came from and how to get going. And then if you master it and you're ready to go and do all these graphics that you see here, then you know what? Do it because you've earned it. So free AI classes every Wednesday at 7 o'clock right here at SKST Radio. You can go to the Cammie Grayson PR Agency. Again, the Cammie Grayson PR Agency.com. And you can find our classes and you can schedule. It's an online class, just like Zoom, so you don't have to come into the studio. However, if you are in the Virginia area, we are located on Cleveland, and you can get that information and that address right off the site. And we would love to have you here. All right? That's my segment for today.
Hey, let me ask you a question. So what AI has just gotten just outrageous. Okay. I think I may have sent you a picture of me with a bald head.
Yes.
And I fooled everybody. My kids was like, "What did you do?" You know, but it was an app that they, like one of my grandkids did, you know, with a bald head. And now, you know, when you go on Facebook or anything, you know, everything is popping up. Like they got now these kids, these babies who have the face of stars.
Yeah, I've been saying.
I mean, I just saw one day with this little girl telling me, "I got goddess. Ain't gonna get time for that." What is it, Cammie?
So
This
these are
evolution.
people now are developing their own apps now. And so you always see, you might get these pop-ups saying you can make money, you can do this, and you can do that. It's because these people, now keep in mind, we started AI at the end of 2022.
22, right?
So I was in it in the beta stage, and someone had to turn me on to it. So I've been going at it nonstop. I mean, to the fact that, you know, we do t-shirts, we do books, we do all kinds of things. And so those people are really, really good. It just depends on what you pick, right? So if you like graphics and that's where you gravitated to, I like mine for business because I write with mine now. You know, I can write an email or a letter, and then I'm always second guessing myself. Is that too harsh? Is that not professional enough? So now you can take your everything out of your head, type it up, and then put it in AI and ask the AI to make this soft. Is this professional? Or is this, you know, to the point?
I wish you'd had that when I was working on my bachelor's of science.
There you go.
I flunked English like 3 times and had to take it over.
With AI.
Because, and look, they always just tell me, you have a brilliant mind, but your grammar is horrible.
There you go.
Oh, God. Okay.
And so
How many more minutes do we have?
we have probably about 5.
Okay.
So you want to wrap it up?
I want to just give you an idea because I know you say veteran support group, and there's somebody out there, okay, we get the veterans together, what are we going to do? When you go into this PDF, and by the way, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I know some things to do, but there's some things in here I didn't think of. When last time Union veterans went to the VA and visited veterans in the hospital? Mm-hmm. I'm talking to you, Pastor, because you come visit me in the hospital. If the Lord don't carry me home and I get out, I do believe I'm going to come by that church and tell somebody thank you, okay? Mm-hmm. Having special lunches or dinners of fellowship, something you can do once a year. Say, look, this is just something we're doing to say we appreciate you, we love you. I cannot begin to stress to you visiting nursing homes, assisted living facilities. This is these things that your veterans can come together and say, This is what we're doing. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Reminded me, Ms. Paulus told me right now, a different section in the VA is offering private cemeteries. If you have veterans headstones that's over 50 years old, they will give you the headstone. They just want the brethren or sister at the church to put it down. They'll ship it to you. They just ask you to put it down. That's something for your veterans to rally themselves around. Okay. So there's some dynamic program. And need I forget, adopt a veteran. Okay. My ministry in Park Place, there was a story. Me and him next month are going to go on the base and get with the chaplain and say, look, we know you get these young men that come in from all over the United States. All of them ain't but wow. Some of them were raised right, and they want to go to church on Sunday. They just don't know where to go. They want to connect with the ministry. Adopt them. And by the way, when you adopt them, when they deploy and they're overseas, you let them know, we got this group praying for you. We got this group praying for your wife and your children. These are powerful things that can touch people's lives.
Yeah, that makes them feel appreciated. You know, it goes back to we appreciate your service.
Right.
And so you ask the question, why? People don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So that little cliche, it means a lot to some people. They just don't know what to say because they don't know what you've been through and they don't want to, to pry.
Yeah.
In other words, but just to acknowledge, you should embrace that. Even though, it's cliche now at this point, but you should embrace it and understand that a lot of people is coming from the heart.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, one time I
really
because of memories of stuff, somebody said, well, thank you for everything you did. And my mom's going, I ain't asked to do half the things I was asked to do.
But you did them.
But you did them.
You did it.
You had to do it.
You didn't do like some people whose name I won't call who said, I ain't going. Matter of fact, they said you were a sucker for going. So again, there are, and one of the beautiful things about this, what's the cost associated with it?
I didn't hear it.
Very little.
None.
Wow.
Maybe the church sponsors some coffee and cake for that week. Maybe they don't.
Right.
Okay. But a lot of things that we do, for example, we're going to do ministry with some children. They wonder what's taking so long. I say, you put your money right. Because children, well, I ain't going to say they don't have money.
Right.
They're going to spend it on you.
Well, you know what? You just, we got to wrap this up, but you just gave me an idea. Maybe we should host a meeting, a meet and greet, and just let people tell their story.
Yeah.
When you say meet and greet, what back?
Yeah. So anybody that wants to come, probably do cake and coffee.
Yep.
And we put them in front of the camera and just let them tell a story.
Okay. Well, listen, I don't think you have to be a church to open up a veteran support group.
Not at all.
We just want the support groups open so that we can reach our veterans and we can help them
There you go.
deal with the day-to-day problems that's causing them to take over.
Give us your contact information.
Again, Nathan Butler, Pastor Nathan Butler, that's Godly Prayer number 3. You can email me at Nathan Butler. That's NATHANBUTLER, the number 8 at yahoo.com. You can call me. And my number's out there, 757-675-4614. And I always tell you, if it's an emergency, call me back to back twice. If not, I'll get back with you within 24 hours.
You will.
And if you missed his number or his information, you can contact us at skstbooking@gmail.com. Again, this is the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, and you are tuned in to Pulse of the People. I'm Cammie Grayson.
W.C. Brown.
Reverend Nathan Butler.
And we miss you, Dr. Ryan.
Yeah,
We'll see
miss you,
y'all
buddy.
next week, right here, SKST
God
Radio.
bless.
Booyah!